But Joel, you were always modest on this, but you played an instrumental role in bringing Dan back and sort of keeping the show going into a fifth season.
Well, I really like money, and this is gonna I don't do a lot of stand-up to make up for the pay. No, it really, after the fourth season, which was not the show, it was like that episode of Twilight Zone where the guy realized that he was in a zoo on another planet. And it just was not the show, and I mean, that man's brain is where it all exists, and I didn't think it was worth continuing if he wasn't back. And so I kept calling Jim and going, am I crazy that we should try and get Dan and Chris back? And Jim was like, I won a fucking Oscar, asshole. I still refuse to get your name in my phone just so I'm like, who the fuck is this? Hey, who the fuck is this? No, it's true. I think Joel was the sort of leader in that, because we all had this passion for this show. Throughout the season 4, we were the group that was left there to sort of try to take care of this show that we all adored. And the idea that we could have this keep going, it's like you had the engine with all cylinders that had been working up until now, and now it wasn't totally working the way you fell in love with it, and you just wanted to get it working again. And I think Joel had that passion to say, we have nothing to lose. This is a show that's always has nothing to lose, because it's always sort of chugged on its own sort of, I was going to say chug on its own beat. I hate that expression already. We chug on our own beat, folks.
You guys talked about how Danny and Yvette really fought you on this.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we should go to the dark chapter.
There's no more than an argument. No pros and cons.
Danny was horrible during the whole time.
I was literally crying in my trailer trying to learn lines most of the year, I think. And that's true. I think it was a hard year, and I think it's the thing about this show, which we never expected a fourth season to come. We really never expected a fifth season to come, but we still had to do it, and we still had the fans the whole time. And that's been a great thing. We still had to make this show. So I think that was the one thing, and I think if it wasn't for Joe's, quarterly deliveries of beer to my house, I wouldn't know how I did it. But I think it's very true that Joel made us all believe that we can do this, and this could happen. I remember we were all talking, would Dan come back? I think the show's taught us that anything is possible.
Well, Danny, let's talk about the other big change, obviously, with Donald Glover leaving this year. That impacts Abed the most. How is Abed handling things?
Did you say Danny or Dan? Sorry.
Danny and Dan. Whichever
You start. Talk to him.
We'll get to you, Harmon.
When am I going to get something?
I think well. I mean, I think I was just so happy and thankful that Dan and Chris came back, just because no one speaks Abed's voice and can like that, and like Dan can do, and that was just something for me, such a gift, and it was awesome. And to have Donald for at least 5 episodes was the best, because we could at least really send them off in a good way. And we had 5 great episodes, and we had a hot lava episode. And it was nice to actually grieve as characters and as friends on set.
You're welcome.
We grieved because of Britta, Brilliance therapizing. But it was hard. It was definitely hard to lose Donald. But I think in many ways, I've said before, I think most of the characters, especially Abed, I think had more growth this year than in all the seasons, because we had to take that, and I think Dan and the writers took it upon themselves to use that as a challenge. And I had an awesome episode with Jonathan Banks where we got to explore different things with each other. Jonathan Banks, that character doesn't take shit, and actually have someone stand up to Abed and say that, and lock him to a file cabinet. Little extreme. But that was awesome. And then, to have the episode with Brie Larson, it shows that Abed can actually socially engage and take what he's learned from his relationship with Troy, and he can connect with other people. So, a lot of growth, and I love the season because of that.
Any chance we'll see Abed and Rachel again, or is I know it's sort of subject to Brie Larson's availability.
Yeah, that's probably up to Brie Larson. I mean, if John Oliver and Brie Larson come out right now with contracts, let's sign them and get started on season 6, and we all need to. It's up to her. I think she does movies and stuff. But these other actors are great.